So with Dust 2 back on the menu, it's time that we take a look at every single smoke, Molotov, and flash that you're going to need to know in order to dominate on this map. There's nothing worse than dying during a site hit because you and your teammates didn't know how to smoke something off. The only thing worse than that is hitting a clip and forgetting to record it. So that's why I let OUTPLAYED record everything for me. It saves me time, storage space, and gives me the peace of mind that I'm never going to miss anything important. But what's important, you might ask? Well, whatever you want it to be. You can pick kills, assists, deaths, or even match wins. Whatever you pick will come up on the timeline where you can then trim and share your clips with whoever you want, wherever you want. There are tons of supported games, so be sure to check out the link in the description for free. Thanks again to OUTPLAYED for sponsoring this video. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started here right out of T-spawn for Dust 2. I would say the fastest way to smoke Xbox is just by coming right here into the side of this wall and just doing a simple jump throw towards the bottom left of this little window. That's going to go all the way up here, and believe it or not, it's going to land on the very top of Xbox and fully smoke off this position so that you're able to push up cat without getting shot from the mid player. Another super easy way to do that is by coming right here into this corner and just doing a simple jump throw right here into this little chip in the corner of this building. And if you do a simple jump throw with that, that's going to go all the way up here and pretty much do the same thing. It's going to jump and bounce right here into the same position, fully smoking it off. And if you're ever top mid and realize that, hey, your teammates didn't smoke Xbox, you can come right here into this position, this line on the wall, and you're going to aim just to the left of this little mark all the way to right here, and you're just going to do a run throw and release just before you hit this wall. So you're going to aim right here and just do a run throw and then let go, and that's going to pop right here and should fully smoke off Xbox, allowing you to peek out without getting destroyed every single time you run up cat. So back in CSGO, one of the most important smokes to know if you ever wanted to go from lower up onto cat was the Hinge Smoke. And this thing was very, very useful and still looks like it could be in certain situations. Unfortunately, sometimes there is a gap that will form as you're jumping up to where a player standing out here mid could get a line of sight on you. Now, this isn't always going to happen, but as you can see right there, I could have gotten shot if I was just unlucky. So if you want to completely mitigate that risk altogether, a better way to throw it was found, I believe, by Nard out here. I saw him tweet it out. You can go right here onto this white part of this little metal part of the door and go all the way up to right here onto this plank and just do a left and right click throw at the exact same time. That's going to pop straight down here and be a much taller version of the Hinge Smoke to where you definitely do not have to worry about that ever again. So whether you've thrown the Hinge Smoke or the regular Xbox Smoke, once you get control of cat, there are a few very important smokes that you should know. And the first one is just the cat lurk smoke. You can go right here into the middle of these two parts of the metal door and do a simple left click at this mark just above this window, and that's going to land right here on the top of this position and allow you to start pushing around and working your way out towards sight. So along with this nice little lurk smoke, a lot of teams back in CSGO would come into this position and do a simple left click right in the middle of this little flower design. That smoke would end up bouncing here and landing on top of this dumpster, allowing teams to push through like this and clear out angles on site without having to worry about being exposed from anyone over here on car. This is a really good combination that you can throw, but there's actually a much better way to throw this smoke abusing the new giant smoke mechanic in CS2. I believe Austin CS was the first one to show this off, so big credit to him. But if you go into that exact same corner and instead of just left clicking right in the middle of that flower design, you just go up to this wire here, the top wire where it intersects with the blue part of this window, well, that's going to end up landing right here on the top of this part of the wall, creating a much taller smoke that you can go behind and peek onto sight with without ever having to worry about anyone on car, because the one downside to this particular smoke is the fact if someone jumps on top of car, they can definitely see over that, right? And you're going to have a hard time dealing with that as you're pushing across. So now let's go ahead and transition to long A. So if you ever want to smoke off corner, you can go right here onto the right side of this little half wall and do a simple jump throw right at this dark spot right here. There's actually 4 of these along the top, or I guess maybe 5, but you just want to go to the second one over. It's just above the wire here. Really easy to spot, really easy to line up. Probably easier in game, but you just do a simple jump throw right at that little one right there. And that is going to go all the way up here. It's going to bank off of this corner and fully smoke off long corner to where they're going to have to push all the way over to here to get an angle on you, allowing you to be able to clear pit without having to worry about someone swinging from corner. It's a nice smoke to throw as a part of a long take. I see people all the time just kind of winging a smoke off of this tooth towards the middle of long. Unfortunately, a lot of times it's going to miss or do something like that. I see it way too many times, whether I'm on CT or T. There's tons of gaps on these long smokes. So the easiest and most consistent way to do it is to go right here into this corner. You're going to look at the right side of the shadow and you're going to do a run jump throw the second you're unable to see this shadow on your screen anymore. It's as easy as that. You're just going to do a run jump throw right about here, and that's going to land in the dead center here of long. fully smoking off with the left and right side. It's about as good as it gets. Or if you'd rather just smoke deep CT instead of the long cross, you can go right here into this position, crouch, aim at the top right of this little piece of the wall, stand up and do a simple left click throw. And that smoke's gonna go all the way up here. It's gonna take a couple of bounces. It's gonna land straight down here in front of CT cross, fully smoking it off, as you can see here. That way you can take a little bit of extra space and maybe clear out elevator here. Now, one thing to keep in mind I've been noticing with CS2 is a little gap likes to form right here. So oppers could potentially come to this position and actually have a little bit of an angle here as you cross. It's not always there, but it's definitely forming from time to time. So keep that in mind. This may be a little bit of a dangerous smoke. So there may be a better way to do this. We'll see what people find out over the next couple of weeks. And if you've ever decided that you're going to rotate from cat all the way down to lower for a B hit, you can get stuck right here into this corner and do a simple left click throw at the bottom of this little line here on the wall. That smoke's going to bounce right here and land on the very top of this door, creating a gigantic version of, I guess, the Hinge Smoke. A really good one to throw as you're rotating to deny any of the mid players all of that information as you're pushing down. And if you decide you'd rather split mid to B, you don't want to throw the old CSGO lineup where you just do a simple left click at this little mark, because while it looks like it would still work, unfortunately with CS2 smokes, they're a little bit shorter and they could actually be standing right back here and get a nice angle on you as you're jumping up into window. And of course, just like CSGO, they can be standing back here and looking towards B doors. But thanks to one of my Discord users, Ayarashi, there's a very easy version of this smoke you can throw to fully cover all of that. You just go right into this exact same corner. You're going to crouch and find the top right of this plank. You're going to put your crosshair in the middle of this screw and just go all the way to the right side of it right here and just do a simple crouching jump throw. That's going to bank off of this wall, off of the ground, and then up onto this box to smoke this off and fully expand to the roof to where from back here in CT, well, they can't see anything up towards window. This is a fantastic smoke because it also covers this angle here. They can't even see over it to shoot you as you're crossing to the normal double door entrance. So it is the perfect smoke for a mid to B split. And if you're ever up here on cat while your team's about to execute B, you can actually help them out by smoking off B doors by just looking at the top left of this little building here and doing a run jump throw. And that's actually going to bank off the top here, and it's going to end up landing just outside of the doors, just like this, to fully smoke this position off. And now moving on over to B site, one of the easiest two smoke executes that you can possibly do is from this corner right here. You're going to find these two dots and do a simple jump throw at the very top one. And then you're going to find these two dots and do the same thing, jump throw at the very top dot. And just like that, you have two smokes. One's going to be landing right here on top of window. It's going to expand all the way down to fully smoke that off. And this one's going to land on the back side of door here, completely smoking it off as well, to where from the CT perspective, well, there's not really much they can do. They can't see through this in any way whatsoever. And you have a full smoke wall to take B on. But what if you already have control of upper and you don't want to go all the way back out here to throw those smokes? Well, the easiest way to do that is you can go right here into this box and you can just do a simple left click throw right towards the lower right hand side of this open part of the sky. Now this is going to be the fastest landing version of this door smoke, but I don't like it as much because it's on the front side here, so it gives a lot more space for the CTs to be able to push out of that smoke and fight you. So a slower landing but better smoke, in my opinion, is if you go right here into this position and you just get out your lineup crosshair. You don't have to do this every time. It's not that precise, but it does certainly help. But you're going to want the bottom part of your crosshair lined up with this light patch right here on the wood and the right side with this dark spot right here. So you're just going to go up like this, line it up, and just release. And this one is going to go all the way up here and it's going to bounce onto the outside of door and it's going to end up fully blooming in to smoke it off from the backside to where there's way less space for the CTs to be able to run through and try to fight you on. And if you want to smoke window from upper, you can just go right here into the left side of this pillar and you're just going to find this dark spot on the plank. The very top of it, you're going to do a simple jump throw and that smoke's going to go way up into the sky and it's going to eventually land back down on top of window, fully smoking it off on the back side here, again leaving plenty of space on this side to be able to push out and take the site. So now that we have smokes out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about flashes. So the most obvious and most important flash to know how to throw properly on Dust 2 is the one for long doors. The easiest way to do this is to go right here onto the corner of this and just jump throw at the bottom of the palm tree. It's not too precise, but you don't want to just lazily throw these over because they can kind of go in a bad position to where they don't full blind pit or anything like that. So that first one is definitely the better flash to be throwing. And if your teammates are ever being lazy and not flashing for you, you can actually throw this for yourself. All you have to do is just aim right here at this little notch on this pillar, and you're just going to do a run throw right as you get through the middle of these doors. So it's going to look something like this. And believe it or not, if you peek in front of this flash, well, it's going to full blind anyone on corner, but it's not going to blind you. So it's a nice one to just peek off of for yourself if you don't have any teammates throwing one over. There's another nice long door self flash you can throw if you're not trying to rush with it by just left clicking at the middle of this little scratch right here on the wood. That's going to pop over the front of this, and it's not going to blind you, but again, it is going to blind anyone standing out here in the front of corner or just out in long. And if you'd rather blind pit from that exact same position, you can do a jump throw towards the top left of the inside of this box. That's going to pop straight over here, not blind you, but full blind anyone standing here in pit. And on the flip side of that, if you're ever on CT and feel like the T's are pushing out of long doors, you can actually just go right here and do a nice little run throw with a flash towards the top of this building like this, where it's going to pop out and it should full blind any of the T's as they're pushing up on you just like that. And if you've ever had to fall back towards CT cross, you can very easily flash anyone pushing up long by just going right around anywhere in here and just taking a couple of steps to the flash to where that's going to pop all the way out here and full blind anyone in this position. From their perspective, it's pretty hard to turn from. A really cool flash you can do for cat control is if you're ever lower and wanting to peek up from Xbox, right after you throw the nice good old-fashioned hinge smoke, right? You can actually, before you jump up onto this position and expose yourself potentially to getting your head ripped off by this player, you can get a teammate, since this is smoked off, to just kind of crouch around anywhere up in this area and just left click at the bottom of this little window. Now what that's going to do is that flash is actually going to land on the bottom side of this railing, so it's like a one-way flash where it's not going to blind you, but it's going to destroy them. You can kind of time that out to where right as it pops, you can just jump up and boom, you have a free kill if they're standing out there. And if you ever want to just run up and peek stairs, a great way to flash for that is you're going to do a run jump throw to where it banks off of this window, and it's going to pop right here and destroy anyone standing up here at the top of stairs towards cat. There's also a very easy and effective self flash for A site. You're just going to do a nice little run throw off the top of this angled portion of the stairs, and boom, just like that, you have fully blinded most of the common positions you would expect on a site. One of the best flashes to have a teammate push cat is to go right here into this position and basically line up with the top right of this portion of the building and the top left of this one. If you turn on your good old fashioned lineup crosshair, it's going to look something like this. And that flash is going to end up popping right here and full blinding anyone on cat without any time to react whatsoever. And it's going to absolutely fully destroy them. And if you have a teammate that's set up right here in a position like this, you can throw that for him, he can turn and then peek off of that, and let me tell you, he's going to have a few free kills. Now this might be one of the oldest tricks in the book, but right after you've thrown your nice CT cross smoke, you can just do a simple left click with a flash right here towards the top right of this box. It's going to pop on the opposite side of this door. You can peek with it and absolutely erase anyone that is playing in an angle like this. And finally, moving on over to B, it's always really easy to just throw a flash right out of the skylight, and that is of course going to blind most of these positions, although it's so far away that oftentimes it's only going to give them maybe half of a second of being blind, but if they're up close, it can definitely do some damage. But another really good flash that you can throw to pair with this is as your teammates are running out of tunnels, you can do a nice little run throw. I like to go just above this window here, so I'll just do a nice run throw with a flash. That's going to pop right here like this, and that should full blind all of these positions on site. Now, of course, they have plenty of time to kind of react to that, but it's not blinding your teammates as they're running out. So the best part about it is you can just layer those up as your team is already out here ready to fight. So it's going to give them a huge advantage mid gunfight. And on the flip side of that, if you're ever stuck behind double in pure desperation in the middle of a site hit, if you want to flash the T's as they're running out, you can just look over here towards the middle of this wall and do a nice little run throw with it. And that's going to pop all the way over to the front of this and full blind anyone here. They're going to have a little bit of time to react from this thing, but hey, it's still a lot better than nothing in the middle of a hit. So now let's go ahead and talk about Molotovs. I would say the most important Molotov to learn is one for cars, so you can jump right up on top of this barrel all the way into this corner and do a W jump throw towards the right side of this little door handle. That's going to go all the way up here, and it should pop straight down and spread all the way into this corner, burning out anyone here all the way to behind this car, taking away all of their cover. Another pretty cool Molotov you can throw if you're crazy enough to line this up is if you go right here into this position and just do a simple left click throw with a molly at the top of this cable right here. That's going to land right in this position, and it's going to not only Molotov the back of double here, it's also going to molly anyone standing here in elevator. It's a pretty ridiculous Molotov to throw. The only issue is it is pretty risky. So you're only going to want to ever throw this if you have cross smoked off properly, and if you have teammates that are moving up onto site that are able to cover if you were to get peeked from someone up here on site. Again, it is a pretty cool molly to throw, but you're very exposed while throwing it. And if you're ever stuck in a retake situation, you can jump up here into this corner and do a simple jump throw right here at this little notch on the pillar. That's going to go all the way over here and fully molly off this back plat area of sight. Whenever you retake B site, it can be pretty difficult because of all the different angles that you're exposed to. So if you go right here and do a simple jump there right in the middle of where this shadow here intersects with the lighter portion of the wall, well, this Molotov is going to bank all the way out here, and it should spread around to catch pretty much every single one of these common positions right here in the middle of sight. And finally, one of the oldest mollies in Dust 2 is the pizza molly. You just aim up here around this tree, and you're going to bank it off of this red sign, and that is going to pretty much fully molly off the entirety of this bomb site. It's going to stretch from this side all the way to the far corner. And of course, you can also throw an HE in that exact same lineup to destroy anyone standing on this side of sight. Now, I'm not going to go too in depth as far as HE lineups in this video because there just aren't many good HE grenade lineups for Dust 2. For the most part, if you think someone's, for example, in lower, you're just going to throw an HE grenade down into lower. There aren't many places like on Vertigo where you're going to be doing jump throws through walls. You're just going to kind of throw HEs where you think the enemies are going to be. So yeah, with that being said, I guess I'm going to go ahead and end the video here on these Molotovs. So if you enjoyed this or you learned something new, go ahead and let me know down in the comments below because I love getting your feedback so that I can make more videos that you guys want to see. If you want to support me, go ahead and click that Outplayed link down in the description, and I'll see you in the next one.